Donald Trump is old. Donald Trump is tired. Donald Trump is just mentally not all there these days. And when you put all of those things together in a third presidential run, it of course becomes a recipe for disaster. And that is what we are witnessing right now with the Trump campaign. With just a month and a handful of days left to go in this election, Republicans across the country, state party leaders specifically, are sounding the alarm bells over the fact that the Trump campaign seems to have somehow gotten lazier. In the last month of this campaign, in fact, going back into last month as well, September and the first couple days of October here, state Republican leaders and Republican operatives and Republican strategists are reporting there's no ground game. We don't know what Donald Trump is doing because based on what we see with our eyes and we hear from people with our ears, they have no presence in any of these swing states. And this, of course, is coming from a new report from Politico, which builds on a report from Politico about a week and a half ago, where they also talked about the fact then that Trump has no ground game because part of his big problem is that he has outsourced all of his vital campaign components like door knocking and mailers and things like that to outside groups. And those outside groups are more than happy to cash those checks. They're just not doing any of the work. And the Trump campaign has gotten so lazy and so tired, they're not checking to see if anybody's actually doing anything. But let me read you this. This is from a couple of Republican operatives. The question in my mind is, are they all singing from the same sheet music? And is that there that strong, extensive, well-funded machine at the top of the ticket? Said Stephen Lawson, a Republican operative in Georgia. I think that's a central question heading into early voting next month. One Michigan-based GOP strategist, granted anonymity to speak candidly, described the party's challenge bluntly, saying, quote, "They are outmatching us in money, in enthusiasm, and in the ground game." So this report, building off of that one that I had talked about a week and a half ago-ish, says, look, not only is the ground game still crap, even though they claim they've got 30,000 volunteers, we've never seen these people, but we're losing in enthusiasm. Democrats are out there hitting the ground running. They're happy. Once Biden dropped out of the race, that enthusiasm shifted overwhelmingly in favor to the Democratic Party, and Republican enthusiasm actually dropped, which is just weird that that would change that, but it did. And the most important fact, Harris is raising more money than she knows what to do with while Donald Trump is struggling to pay his bills. Harris has so much money that she has basically started giving out millions of dollars to Democrats running across the country, which for the record is what campaigns are supposed to do, but typically the DNC or the RNC would do that. Trump, on the other hand, is taking money meant for struggling Republicans and other races and just absolutely blowing it on these third-party vendors that aren't even giving him a product. Harris has so much money, she's just like, all right, everybody come get some. Let's make Democrats win. But it's not just that. Another GOP operative in a battleground state said, quote, "It's almost like a timeshare scheme. You have to go in and do the training and you get the swag and the hat and the yard sign. That's what you have to do to go get it. It doesn't seem like people are really being activated and the campaign's not very forthcoming on whether they've been activated." So part of the issue, they say, is, listen, nobody wants to put in the work. They don't want to have to go to these meetings to find out how to knock on doors or how to give people yard signs. They don't care enough to do it. So as Trump's campaign has gotten lazier, it's created this sense of we don't care. And that sense of we just don't care has now spread over into the activists, the volunteers, because they're looking at it like, okay, well, if they don't care, then why should we care, right? Like, they're the people running. They're the people that are supposed to be doing more work than any of us. And they're just sitting there. Donald Trump's on Truth Social critiquing Fox News all day. I'm not going to go bust my butt for this guy that won't even get off the golf course. No. J.D. Vance can't even make reservations to go hold a campaign event at a restaurant to where he get kicked out and had to do it in the parking lot. These people don't care, so the activists and the volunteers do not care. But compare that to the Harris campaign, which of course Politico did. The Harris campaign, for its part, has the money it needs to pour into any remaining infrastructure needs. A campaign aide, granted anonymity to speak about internal campaign dynamics, said the campaign had 238 offices and roughly 1,750 staff in battleground states as of Wednesday of last week. And the record fundraising hauls Harris has brought in, raising $310 million in July, including $200 million in the first week after she replaced Biden, has allowed the campaign to pour additional resources into its ground game, including 418 staff and 30 offices in the last month. So again, Harris has so much money, she's like, screw it, let's just hire more people. Let's open more offices. Let's knock on more doors. Let's make more phone calls. Let's do what we have to do to get this done and get across that finish line. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign is just out there like, we paid that group to do it. I mean, we didn't really have the money, but they're doing it, we think. We don't know. We're not checking. Everybody's telling us they're not doing it, but we're not bothering to check. But there's more to it. Because right now, you could not accuse Donald Trump himself necessarily of running a lazy campaign. Now, throughout August and September, absolutely. I talked multiple times about reports Donald Trump being critiqued for running a lazy campaign, doing fewer events than ever. But basically, starting this past weekend, he's ramped it up. He's doing more things. And he's doing those things in these swing states where he has no ground game. So you would think that, okay, he may not have people knocking on doors, but he is going to the states and he is talking to people, right? Well, let me explain to you why that's an issue. The door knocking is not to go find somebody that already has a Trump yard sign and talk to them. You've already got that person. The door knocking is to go out there, find people that are on the fence, who may vote for Harris, may vote for Trump. They just need to be nudged in the right direction. That's what door knocking is about. So even when Trump shows up for a rally in Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, doesn't matter, he's not speaking to the people on the fence, right? These Trump rallies are not being packed in with undecided voters. They're being packed with people who already owned their Trump shirts and their MAGA hats. He is preaching to the choir in these swing states that he is visiting, but it's not doing anything. He is already talking to people that are already going to vote for him. It is effectively useless. Without that ground game, without the ability to go out there and actually talk to people who do not know who they're going to vote for, all of this means nothing. And Harris is crushing it, while Donald Trump continues to run the laziest campaign in modern history. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena. And Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.